Thanks for joining us today. I'm Gabe Garrish, owner of Backwoods Pursuit, and today we are continuing our Sitka Layering Guide review series with a look at the Sitka Kelvin Light Down jacket. This is Sitka's down and synthetic blend jacket, or one of them, and we're going to go over kind of the warmth, how it's performed that way, some of the unique features of this, and some of the things that I've really loved about this, and maybe it could be better as well. So stick around as we do that. As always, we really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button for us and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Links to that down in the description, as well as a link to our website, backwoodspursuit.com. Tons of other gear reviews over there, and I will put a link to the Kelvin Light Down for you down in the description so you can check it out for yourself. Let's dive into this. All right, so the Kelvin Light Down jacket. This is Sitka's 70-30 blend of Primaloft gold insulation, along with 70% of your European goose down. So it's a very high quality down, really compressible, and does a really good job of keeping you warm. In warmth, it's between what I would say the Kelvin Light, their new Light, and the Kelvin Down jacket with wind stop. So it's kind of right in between those two, warmth-wise, but it's a very, very warm jacket. And as you can tell, it's a little more on the puffy side, if you will, a little more, those are a little more loft to that than the Kelvin Light that we reviewed earlier. So it's going to be a little different in use that way. It's noisier than the Kelvin Light by a little bit. So maybe not the best for your archery application, but it is very, very warm. It's probably even too warm for a lot of your archery applications. So, you know, some people really need that quietness, but if you're in a rifle type of situation, rifle hunting, you probably don't need that or not as concerned about that. So some of the unique features of this, unique to this jacket versus say the Light, the Kelvin Light, this one has elastic around the base here of the jacket, whereas the Light does not. So kind of unique that way. It's the more the bomber style that kind of cinches around your waist. So if you're not using a pack, that's going to keep that cold air from coming in, which is really nice. The pockets here on the side are pretty high up here. I'll show you in a second. And then they're mesh on the interior. So when you're looking at on the inside, you can see right through. That's right onto the interior of that jacket. And it's nice big pockets, so you can put your mittens or something, your gloves or something larger in there. Of course, if you have your pack on, it's cinching down over the top of the pockets. It's not going to be as useful, but these pockets do sit high enough that they're still useful even with that. Now on the interior here, you've got that mesh lining for that large pocket there, and then you do have a smaller pocket with something, say like your phone or something like that on the interior. Keep that from getting too cold. But then the interesting part about this pocket is when you open it up that way, it's still large on this side, as well as having this secondary smaller pocket that's accessible from the inside. So kind of a unique feature that way as far as the pockets. Now this is DWR treated, so it's going to repel some moisture. Of course, not a raincoat, but it is because of that Primaloft gold insulation. It's going to help even if the down does get wet. It's going to help it maintain its loft and be better when it's wet. It is body mapped, and you can kind of tell that here in the way that this is put together. You got the horizontal baffles here, but on the back, you can tell that it changes, and the arms on the underneath side of the arms right here and right here, you have less insulation. I believe it's 60 grams of the synthetic insulation on the underneath sides here, and then on the back right down here, where you tend to have more of your overheating type of issues. So it's body mapped to give you the maximum performance when you're out in an active type of a situation. Now, of course, this is the gray color. This is the Woodstock gray, which is an awesome color. I really like this color. And this, in my use so far, I would say this is significantly warmer than the Kelvin Light. Not as nearly as warm, though, as the Kelvin Down with the wind stop. That's going to give you a lot more of the down integrated into that. You've got 100 grams of the down insulation here. So significantly more than the Kelvin Light, but not nearly as much as the Kelvin Down with wind stop. So keep that in mind. It's a good kind of middle of the road, but it is a little bit more on the bulky side for an archery type of situation. I'll throw this on. So as far as sizing here, this is a size large. This is again the standard fit. And I found with Sitka jackets, whenever they're the standard fit for me, I can go ahead and go with a large, which is what I normally wear. If they're the performance fit, like the Jetstream jacket, I had to go up to an XL, and that fits really well. So Jetstream tends to run small anyways. So this being a large fits really well. You can see the body mapped, the cuts in the insulation here on the interior there, and then on the back, underneath side of your arms and whatnot. So it does a good job of not having more insulation than is needed in the areas that you don't need it. Fits really well, and again, you can see the elastic around the waist here is keeping sealing the cold air from coming in. And then the hood again I like the elastic around here, does a really good job of sealing out the cold if you need to do that. And just a nice comfortable hood that way. So really love the way that this jacket is built, and just is one that fit me really well, and have really enjoyed using this. As you can tell, it's a little more puffy, if you will, than the Aero Light, so it's not going to be as streamlined. So in an archery situation, again, it's a little noisy here, and it's a little more puffy, so I might use this one more for your later season, rifle type situations. And one other unique thing is the way that the cuffs are sewn here. The elastic is sewn on the interior of the jacket, so it looks like you have no cuff whatsoever, but you do have that elastic sewn on the interior. So kind of a cool feature that way. So that's the Sitka Kelvin Light Down jacket. It's an awesome jacket, depending on the situation. Again, a little noisy for an archery situation, a little bit more on the bulky puffy side for drawing a bow, shooting a bow, but it could be done and not cause too much of a problem that way, but it is a little bit on the noisy side for that. So keep that in mind, but super warm, especially for the 17 ounces that this thing is. Really lightweight, but really warm for the weight that you've got, because you have that down. And as you can imagine, super compressible because of the down. You can get a real nice compact jacket. So this is definitely one of the jackets that I find myself using and grabbing a lot, just because of the warmth. Of course, if temperatures are warmer, you're not going to need this, but it's an awesome jacket. So a link to this down in the description again, and drop any questions or comments for me if you have them down in the comments section. Love to help you out and point you in the right direction. Thanks for joining us here today. We'll see you next time.